Hey, hello friends. There we go. Hello, thank you for joining me today. Real quick broadcast this afternoon because I'm going to go paint a wedding in just a couple hours, and I hope to have you join me there. My name's Dan. This is Daily Art Adventure number 648. Yay! Almost halfway to from 6 to 700. Not that anybody's counting. All right, I got to confess that I painted without you guys last night. I know, I felt like I was two-timing you the whole time that I was out here painting, but I did it anyway. Painted without your company. Can you believe it? And basically finished this painting in my work journal. See my signature down there. I called the painting finished. But in my world these days, that usually means I have an entry the next day that says something like finishing touches. And for the simple reason, obvious reason I think, that you can always find something more that needs to be done on a painting, especially after having slept on it. So if you give it a night's sleep and then come back and I'm trying to move you closer so you can see what's going on here. Sorry about all the earthquaking on you. Nope, not the right color. So let me tell you what, I'm of course free to do any final touches I want. Anything I want is fair game. But what I'm trying to do mostly here is pretty particular, pretty specific. And that is that I want to take all these abstract, not all of them, I want to take a number of these abstract swooshes, if I may call them that, and instead of having them be hard-edged on both sides, I want to make them wider and fade out on one side. So I kept a little gap there, and then did the bad kind of painting, the kind of painting you're not supposed to do. Scumbling. That was another lecture, of course, that I give periodically. Now I'm mixing up a darker red, again, to accomplish the same thing. But see that, I don't know if I need to explain, I've got a blue streak that goes this way that's lighter, and a red streak, two red streaks that go this way, and where they overlap the blue streak, which is lighter, they get lighter. I don't know if all that makes any sense to you. And of course, I mean, I'm making up all this stuff, right? There's like, I don't even know if what I'm doing is quote unquote the right thing. I'm just making it up as I go. The color that I just put down there is still much too light, so I'm trying to darken it with some various kinds of red and various kinds of blue and brown. That's better. Okay. So the kind of painting that you're not supposed to do is this scumbling, shading like this, generally speaking, right? But every rule can be broken. And I think that's, at this time, that's a rule. So the rule is, for you newcomers, scumbling is not a pleasant final texture, so use it sparingly. And I think what I'm doing maybe qualifies as sparing. So I want to give the sense that this red swoosh is not just an inch wide or half an inch, which it was earlier, but 2 or 3 inches wide, and fades out on the downhill side of it. Does that make sense? I did the same thing. I'll go ahead and show you. Let me give you another earthquake ride. I did the same thing just a few minutes ago up here in the sky. Oh, I'll bring it down somewhat. There, see that orange stripe? It was just one orange stripe, 1/4 of an inch wide here, and this is my attempt to do the same thing. So I mixed up a orangish blue. Think about it, orange blue, and painted it there and faded it out, and then another one here and faded it. Anyway, to give the sense that that stripe is 2 inches wide instead of 1/4 of an inch wide. Did the same thing over here with this green one. Last night I did it with this red one. So that's the kind of thing I'm doing. I don't want all of these abstract swooshes, if I can call them that. I don't want them all to be skinny. I want them to be wider. So that's what I'm doing. I go ahead and do the same thing. Do this one right here. Do this another red stripe. Also, I didn't want them all to have hard edges. After I studied my painting a little bit last night after finishing, I looked at it and said, nah, too many hard edges in my abstract stuff. Let me, by the way, I like this painting quite a bit. I'm happy to say that I'm happy with it. But this is my first attempt ever at doing this particular, and for you newcomers, I'm sorry, I'm not going to go back and repeat what it is I'm doing. It's in a word, I'm trying to allow my initial abstract underpainting, which would need some explanation if you're new to my channel, trying to allow more of my initial abstract underpainting to show through in the final painting. So what you're seeing with these crazy abstract marks, like here, these red things, and these blue things. There's blue going that way, blue, 3 red ones going this way, and so on. And then up in the sky, forgive me, let me move you around just a little bit. This stuff, okay, those are all ghosts of abstract marks that I put on the canvas before I started the painting, the scene. Does that make sense? All right. So this painting is a very bold experiment to try to keep the abstract viable. I use that word. Peeking through, poking through, appearing through the representational painting that's on top of it. So anyway, I'm fairly happy with the results of my experiment, although I know I can do better. There's no question in my mind. I want to do it again. It was fun. It was fun while it lasted, we could say. But I very much look forward to doing it again, because I know I can do better, which honestly, that's right, to be expected. The first time you try something, especially something this bold. Now let me stand back. I'm working out of my garage because this painting is 6 feet tall and it just doesn't quite fit in my studio in my house, which is quite a problem because I hope to do a lot more really big paintings. And so what am I going to do? Move my studio permanently out into my garage? Another 90-degree day here in central North Carolina? I don't know. I do not know the answer to that question. All right, I'm gonna tackle another abstract swoosh. Forgive me for a minute here while I get you pointed in the right direction. Whoa, nice quick look at the floor. All right, now we're looking at this red mark right here. It's quite distinct. But it's, as you can see, it's about 1/4 of an inch wide. And I just feel like it would look better if it were considerably wider than that. So let me try to widen it out here really quickly. I'm mixing up just a hodgepodge of reds. My favorite reds are, my favorite red period is probably Permanent Rose, which I discovered in Jerry's Artorama just an hour or two ago. It's a little bit hard to find. Not many brands make a Permanent Rose, and I need to do more research and find out if, you know, quinacridone, is that the same as Permanent Rose? Anyway, I didn't stop and do the research. I didn't study pigment numbers in the store, but I need to do that because I need to find out. I'm assuming Permanent Rose is just one name for a color that several manufacturers make and call something different. Anyway, it's my favorite, Permanent Rose. And then second favorite is Scarlet Lake, which is a very warm, that is to say orange-ish red. And then in between those two, I like Naphthol Crimson, which is a dark mid-tone tending toward cool, that is tending toward the bluish purplish end of the red spectrum. And dark. It's really, I always think of it as it's really a blood red. Again, that's Naphthol Crimson. Not every paint company makes a Naphthol Crimson. Anyway, those are my three reds most of the time, most often. So I've just made, I've just turned that into a wider thing. Now, I'm not done though. I'm certainly not happy with the way that is right now, but bear with me. Let's see what we can do. So back to a paler, lighter red. I'm going to come back here in a minute and paint some of the background colors on top of, and by the way, do you see this blue streak? Yeah, right there. I want to do the same, something similar to that. All right, that's good enough for that. Let me get some clean brushes and save those red ones because I'll probably be coming back and using them again. And let's mix up whatever color that is. I'm going to say it looks like it's got some yellow ochre and some raw umber. Let's see how close that is. Yellow ochre and raw umber. Let's see. Whoa, that's close. Good. And it's just slightly lighter than what's already there. Remember, anytime that you're painting with opaque paint, another way to say that, anytime you've got either titanium white or yellow ochre or Naples yellow on your brush. Most of the time it's titanium white. Anytime you're painting with opaque colors, then you can, it's legal, I'll put it in a funny way, it's legal to put your brushes down on any part of the canvas that is darker than what's on your brushes. Does that make sense? Where am I putting my brushes down? Anywhere that's darker than what's on my brushes right now. I have a fairly dark paint on my brushes right now, right? It was originally made up of, as you heard me, yellow ochre and raw umber. And I was aiming for this and hit it pretty, lucky for me, hit it pretty much dead on. Man, there's a lot of glare. Even I can't see what I'm looking at today. I have to come all the way over here to see. Back to the statement. You can put your brush down anywhere that it's darker than what's on your brushes. If you come then to a passage in your canvas, a place on the painting that is lighter than what's on your brushes, don't put your brush down. You need to go back and lighten what's on your brushes then, and paint on top of that. Now this relates only to when you've got opaque paint on your brushes, okay? And some of you regulars know exactly what I'm talking about. Some of you new people, what are you talking about? Well, the rule is, every rule can be broken, but if you don't know the rules, you're probably just screwing up. That's right. One of my most oft-stated mantras. You get light with opaques, dark with transparents. Otherwise, you're creating mud. There are other definitions of mud. I don't care about them. This is the tricky one. This is the tricky one that trips up most people the most. Mud is dark, opaque paint put on top of something that's lighter. I preach that so many times. I'm going to give it a rest right now. That's enough. You've heard enough. And again, any newcomers here, well, I'll tell you what, just in case there are, let me pick up my camera and with shaky hands and show you, oh good, somebody, is that David? No, Uncle 60, good. I'll look forward to coming back and getting your chat about definitions of quinacridone, permanent rose, and so on. I just saw that, I didn't read it, I just saw what it was about. Okay, so there's my painting. I want you newcomers to see that it's a very representational. It would not be appropriate to say very realistic, of course not, but it is very representational painting of downtown street in my town, Raleigh, North Carolina, a street that I've painted well over 100 times. I don't know if it's hundreds of times. That would require at least 200 paintings of it, but at least well over 100 times over the last 15 years. I paint it because this is where I live, and it's, you know, it's the most downtown street in our city. It's the heart of our city. I paint it because it's the heart of our city. Stand back again. Yeah, all right. I don't know what I did. I don't know what just happened, but I like that. Now it looks like there's about an 1.5 inch swath, abstract swath of red that goes through the painting. That's nice. I may do just one more and then call this broadcast. Yeah, time for me to go jump in the pool. We sound like rich people, don't we? We're not. We bought a house out in the suburbs with a backyard and a pool. And the pool is a mixed blessing, but in hot weather like this, it's definitely a blessing. And then get dressed to go paint a wedding this evening nearby in Wake Forest, North Carolina. So I look forward to broadcasting there this evening. As some of you know, broadcasting at a wedding reception is a ticklish business. First of all, if they've got a DJ playing recorded music, then all that recorded music is copyrighted, and I'll get in loads of trouble if I broadcast their recorded music. Or if they've got a band, then the band is deafeningly loud, which is a problem. And thirdly, of course, I am there to serve the wedding party and the bride and groom, not you guys. So, you know, sorry. So I don't want to make them feel like they're getting second best because I'm paying attention to my camera. Okay, so I'll broadcast all that I can. And by the way, it dawned on me. I may broadcast some in dead silence. I'll unplug my microphone so that no sound goes through, so that I don't get in copyright trouble with Google. So same trick here. Right now, this piece of that line. By the way, it was made with these oil sticks. That's a recent invention. Not invention. It's a recent addition to my painting toolkit, and I've enjoyed those sticks quite a bit. Serves me well. Serves my abstract proclivities nicely. Let's make that a little bit darker. So, as you can imagine, I definitely have ideas about things that I can do on my next painting, which will commence probably on Monday. It'll be my next painting is exactly the same size as this one, 6 by 6 feet. A view of this same exact street looking the other direction. The viewpoint is way down here somewhere, looking this way, and behind us here in this painting, behind us is the state of North Carolina Capitol building. So, looking this way, the Memorial Auditorium, Maimandi Auditorium, Symphony Hall, whatever you want to call it, all those names are appropriate. Is at the end of the street. Nice, majestic Greek building. And looking the other way is the Neo-Gothic. I'm not an expert at architecture. I should know more than I do. My mom would be embarrassed of me. My mom, who I love to absolutely pieces, by the way. She's 94 years old. Saw her on the 4th of July here at a family picnic. Great fun. She's definitely one of my heroes. You could also say she's a piece of work. She's a very positive person, that's why I'd like to be like her. If I live to be 94 years old, I would very much like to be her kind of 94. If she's in the room is full of laughter. She's a very bright person. I've bragged about her before. I don't want to overdo it here, but come on, can a boy brag about his mom? I've told you this story before, but she, I think probably as long as I've known her, she reads through the Bible every year. And just since the age of, I don't know, 80 something, 85 maybe, I know she's read through the Bible in English. Isn't that a surprise? French, German, and Latin. And I said, Mom, and when I was, in fact, when I was in middle school, for a period of about 6 weeks, my regular German teacher was sick, and so she was my German teacher, and my regular English teacher was sick at the same time, so I had her for 2 classes every day. Small town. Anyway, I say, Mom, where did you learn German? She looks at you, honestly, she looks at you like you're kind of stupid. I love it. She looks at you, and it's my face, yeah, she looks at you, kind of says, in high school, like, what do you think? Well, Mom, where in the world did you learn French? Same thing, you get that. Are you my boy? I'm a little embarrassed of you right now. That look. She says, in high school. Well, Mom, where did you learn Latin? Do it with me. In high school. Oh my goodness. That's either, now, okay, either one of 2 things is true. Either they don't make high school the way they used to, or they don't make high school students the way they used to. Now let me hasten to add, with just a touch of Canadian arrogance, pride, just a touch of Canadian pride, that my mom and dad are Canadian. And I don't know if they still do this or not, but back in the day when my mom was in school, they had an optional grade 13. So there you go. See, that explains it all. My mom went through grade 13. Oh, that explains it all. Yeah, if you and I had gone through grade 13, then we would know 3 languages so well that we can still read them in our 80s. Oh, and one of those was in her 90s. I promise. The Latin. That was she's 94. That was less than 4 years ago. So there you go. And my mom, she's smart. She's expert on history, English. I mean, you know, real English language anyway. And not a bad, studier of birds and flora and fauna, etc. Anyway, so thanks for listening to me, my model and respect for my dear mither. How did all that come up? I forget, but anyway. I'm happy with those 2 changes, widening that blue and widening that red. That is much better. That is much better. So it's not looking like just little streaks that I put on like with a marker at the last minute. That's better. I'll look at everybody's chats in a minute, but I just saw somebody's chat. Am I doing a Cityscape pop-up gallery soon? That is a very good question, and the answer is I have been wondering about that. Even your mentioning it encourages me that indeed perhaps I should pursue that. If not a pop-up gallery, then one of the other options is to, in fact, attach myself to a gallery, which I have one gallery here in town. I pulled out of all galleries, by the way, in February of this year, which is not a big deal, because I used to be in as many as 8, maybe 9 galleries in the state of North Carolina, all in North Carolina, and I pulled out of all of them simply because I want to extricate myself from that level, that level of the art business, so that I can launch into a new higher level. Got one more thing that I can see right now. I want to, the squares, they're actually stripes that go across the road down here. I was very concerned about making them too interruptive, too strong, too much energy. I'm happy to say that I've underdone it just a little bit. So, in fact, I can come back and give them a little boost, and they're still not going to be overpowering. So that's good. You know, lightening something in your painting is a really nice, easy fix. You know, it's a one-step fix, basically. All right. Now, I think this is my last final touch on this painting, of course. You know the way it goes. Now, I'm not, as you can see, I'm not fiddling the thing to death exactly. At least I hope I'm not. And partly because everything that I'm doing right now, almost everything except for those squares, all the other work that you saw me doing. Oh, good. Sorry about the fuzz. My power was plugged in. Thanks for alerting me to that. Now let's see if we're pointed in the right direction. Sorry, Susan. For some reason that didn't come through on my monitor. It's probably okay now, isn't it? So there we go. I still, of course, can make changes. Oh, I was saying, I mean, one of the great dangers of painting for all of us, one of the great hazards is continuing to piddle, right? Get the thing done and quit. One of my thoughts in the way I'm painting this painting, and maybe all my paintings in the future, is that usually when you're piddling, you're trying to achieve a higher degree of realism or similitude. You're piddling with drawing and making things realistic. And here, of course, I'm actually doing the very opposite. That doesn't mean I can't slip into over piddling. I sure can. I can piddle with the best of them. But there is some slight degree of safety born out of the fact that I'm not here drawing. I'm actually adding abstraction to the canvas, so slightly less danger of piddling. All right, let me look at your great comments and then go jump in the lake. Me jump in the lake, not you. And then get packed up and go to the wedding this evening. Thanks, you guys. I didn't think I'd get anybody on a Saturday afternoon. Kane Fay, hi Dan, your work is good, but your pedagogy is better. Thank you, Kane. That is very, very generous of you. I appreciate that. Kane looks like a man. Yeah, man Kane. Thank you for joining me today. Uncle 60, the car lights make it look like the cars are moving. Nice, thank you. Thank you, appreciate that. Yeah, that's true. Hi, Kane, how to look at the word up. Pedagogy, that's good. Yeah, Uncle 60, Dave Mercer, sometimes also known as Vincent Mercer, was on yesterday briefly, I think it was, or the day before, one or the other. Oh, you know what? My phone just came up. How about that? I'm sorry, speaking of my mom, today is my dad's 99th birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday, Dad. Love you. He's not with us. He's been gone 12 years. Yeah, thanks, Uncle, for noticing. Dave, he was around yesterday. Pink looks good, thank you. Oh, good. Here's what I was. Quinacridone rose is called permanent rose from different manufacturers. So you have read. Good. Thank you for that. And you add quinacridone rose. It is made by manufacturers, including Smith, Graham, Da Vinci, Winsor Newton. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Where it is called permanent rose and many others, made from pigment violet 19, which creates a range of colors from a pink through crimsons and magentas to violet in its different forms. Excellent information. Whew. Thank you. So I could have bought those tubes of, if you look over and read the pigment numbers, you know what you're looking at, but I didn't have time. Thank you. Sound, I hope, was fuzzy. And Luis Oranjo Reme says, Buen trabajo, maestro. Thank you. Good work. I think that means good work, Maestro, right? Thank you very much. And salutations. Thank you. I already answered Horatio's question about Uncle 60's question about doing a pop-up gallery, maybe. And Luis, I'm going to translate your chats when we finish here, okay? Thank you so much for making a chat in either Spanish or Portuguese. I will find out. Thank you very much. Yes, I am very lucky I have my mom. And to tell you the truth, I think all the kids in my family were extremely blessed. We had good parents. They weren't perfect. No parents are, but they were good. And they were very, very bright and gifted. So, yeah. Good. Okay, sound got better. Hi, R.I.P. humanity. Yes, and Luis, same question. Where are you from? RIP 666 asks a question, how long have I been painting to get to this level? That is a very good question. The most honest answer is I've been an artist my whole life. My dad was a good hobby painter. And so when I went off to kindergarten at age 5, I remember marching off to school feeling like I was an artist. That's true. In fact, I failed my first assignment on my first day of kindergarten because I turned whatever the assignment was. I still don't know to this day what it was, but I turned it into a coloring project. Like, what else would you do? And I remember learning, oh, that wasn't the right thing to do. And then I majored in art. That was almost worthless. They didn't teach me how to paint hardly at all. Sorry for the double negative. I was a self-employed freelance illustrator for most of 30 years. That's where I learned the most. Then I've been oil painting for 15 years. So there's the answer. Oil painting for 15 years on top of illustration, watercolor, pen and ink, airbrush, gouache, everything else for 30 years on top of growing up as a kid with a high interest in art. So that answers that question. That's a good question. Thanks for asking. All right, I think it's done. It's already signed. Signed it last night. And I can't wait to start my next one. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. And I hope to broadcast this evening from a wedding. Thanks. Bye-bye.